This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing the Alien role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is called Heart of Darkness. It was written by Andrew E.C. Gaska, and it's available from Freely Publishing. Our game AI is Tyler Hudak, and this is episode 7. Our recap will be given by Steve Anderson as his character, Dr. Seja Drabakowski. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Steve?
Personal log 37, Mark II, Mark VI. Communications pod Erebus penal station orbiting Ablassen black hole. The situation is bleak, but I must take this moment to capture all that has happened since my last entry. We had successfully captured one of the creatures that we had been calling a squid baby, when suddenly a tentacle reached out and grabbed Dr. Webb. The man calling himself Dr. Navarre managed to get him free from the creature, but only for a moment. The creature reached out again, grabbing Webb, and killed him in a most gruesome manner. I shot at the tentacle creature to cover our retreat, while we quickly jury-rigged the damaged door to shut and lock us away from the horror. Meanwhile, in the cryo chamber of the Charon, Lark and Seja woke Levine, a survivor of the Kronos mission. Levine revealed the dark history of their mission, more details of the 26th Draconis strain. They called it a black goo, and the emergence of beings called the Perfected. The entire crew, including Levine, were infected with the goo. A technician, Helen Lugar, perhaps related to the captain of the Centurina, saved Levine by putting them into sleep. Lark and Seja had noticed black veins coursing through Levine's arms, a sign of the infection. As the infection reawakened within them, Levine horrifically dissolved into black goo. Thinking quickly, Lark collected the goo as a vital sample. Fortified with a century-old bottle of tequila, they headed back to the med lab. The three of us in the med lab regrouped and discussed our options. I disclosed that I had been infected. I also disclosed that I was from the UPP, and Dr. Navarre disclosed his true identity as a UPP agent. I offered Tetsu a home with us in the UPP, and knowing that the corporations had nothing to give him, he gladly accepted. We then turned back to the present moment. We discussed creating a necrovirus and made plans to destroy the station by sending it into the nearby black hole. We also discussed how important it was to find the parts to repair the Centurina. Lark contacted the Centurina and learned that the captain is suspicious of Dr. Hedstrom due to a prisoner-like barcode tattoo on his head. Who can we trust? Definitely not the captain or his pet android, Gray. Well, Gray doesn't matter too much anymore as they are dead. Dr. Navarre and I left Tetsu in the med lab where he began to work on the necrovirus. I headed to the daughter pod and he went to meet up with Lark and Sajad to get their sample of the necrovirus. In daughter, I made contact with UPP handlers and confirmed a rescue ship would arrive in 90 minutes. When I told Navarre, he was glad, but admitted that he thinks he's infected too. The daughter system had successfully decrypted the Project Ironfish data, and it contained sensitive communications from all over the universe, from all factions. It's amazing information that was probably received using the black hole. If only I had time to do more research on this. Sajad, Lark, Dr. Navarre, and Gray met up. They told us that the protohive was spreading faster and faster, completely encompassing some hallways. They ran into a wary Wix. Wix and her convicts had captured Sykes and Hobbs. Wix made the four of them watch as she, while spouting religious nonsense, threw the men into the black hole. Sejad attacked the convict and stole their shotgun, allowing her, Lark, and Dr. Navarre to escape. With them safe, I opened the cargo bay, sending Wix and her followers into the void of space. The death of all those corporate slaves is on my hand. What has this mission turned me into? While working alone in the lab, Tetsu faced a terrifying encounter with two Deacon xenomorphs and a perfected, wearing scraps of clothing labeled H. Lugar. We know the captain must be involved somehow. The perfected launched a devastating mental assault, demanding the 26 Draconis strain and giving Tetsu a 2-hour ultimatum. After blacking out, Tetsu awoke to find the beings gone, comforted only by the station's resident cat. All across the station, we felt something. The protohive had completely overtaken the structures. Walls breathed, pipes pulsed like arteries. The reactor began to pulse like a heartbeat, and pods burst open to reveal monstrous creatures. The station had become a biomechanical biome monster, leaving us trapped within its living corridors.
Right. So just to kind of put, uh, so I know where everybody is. Ijira, you are in the medical lab, correct?
Yes, working on the necrotic virus, the one that's to counter the conversion of the ship into this bioform. Yeah.
And Draconis, you are in daughter still. And then the other three of you, where were you at?
I'm
When
scrounging for repair parts.
That's right.
and when Wix started to attack, I ran out. Uh, I'm heading back towards where Joe's character is.
I think we talked about it, and if Navarre is going on his own, then Sajada is going back to the ship. Time to armor up.
To your ship.
Yes, to
Okay.
the original ship, the
Right. The
Catalina
Saturina.
mixer. Yeah, that one.
All right. Let's start with Colonel Draconis. You are in daughter, not feeling too well. Things seem to be getting worse. In fact, your vision, starts to blur a little bit. You feel like you have a really bad fever. It's hard to concentrate, and before you know it, and you don't know how long you've been in there. Maybe it's only been a couple seconds, maybe it's been a few minutes or longer. You see on the screen in one of the terminals a transmission from the UPP that had previously contacted you. You don't know how long it's been sitting there. You don't know how long they've been waiting for a response, but it says, "Transmit Ironfish data for rescue."
Um, okay, I'll reply. Um, Negative, um, ironfish data corrupted with virus, um, contained within a protected firewalled disk will bring it aboard ship.
It takes a couple seconds or a minute or so to for that to go out and for a response to come back. And the response just says confirmed. Await arrival of ship. Dr. Navarre, you were heading towards Stravikovsky, correct?
No, I'm heading towards Dr. Tetsuo
Okay, all right.
to
So
help work on the virus with him.
All right, so let's say that you get up there shortly after Ijiri wakes up. So you walk into the medical lab, and
Dr.
again,
Jerry, wake up.
as you're going
Hmm.
through the entire place is just now starting to be covered in this protohive. But you walk in, and Ijiri is lying on the floor, the cat licking his face.
I got a
Dr.
visit from our friends, the perfected again. This one was at one time must have been this Helen Lugar, just from the tattered tattered clothes they were wearing. But they've given us 2 hours to hand over the Draconis 26 strain. But I think I'm at a point where we have the necrotic virus.
You got
So
something that'll kill it.
I'm hoping that we can use it, if not on this entire station, at least on our ship to try to get it free from this stuff. So when they get the parts, we can get the hell out of here.
Is it something we can replicate, make more of?
Oh yes, it's ready for that. We just yep, we have we have DNA RNA cloners that can get the virus just start just almost at a industrial capacity. These machines we can get a lot of it. I'm not sure about delivery. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, like for our ship, to weaponize it, like perhaps a hypo spray or some way to just
Well,
anything.
I'm wondering
Just,
if have we tried injecting it into some of this here on the walls to see if
well,
it.
we don't have time to do all kinds of set up all kinds of experiments. It might just be the best way to just kind of you just put it in a syringe and just stick it into the wall and see what happens, even if it's just a local reaction.
Yeah, we need to do that because we don't
Let's
want
do
to
that.
have nothing happen.
Yeah, I was
I
hoping to do that. We had
my
had some
preliminary
unexpected visitors.
my preliminary tests on this stuff, it it's not like anything I've ever seen, but it's some sort of mutagen that actually mutates DNA. So we'll have to see if we can actually kill it without it just
It's
mutating.
diverse metal too. It's very odd.
Yeah,
Let's see
it's
if
not
Webb.
natural. It's not natural. It's got to have been engineered.
Yeah, this is
I think maybe Wayland engineered it years and years ago.
surprised me. Well, let's hope that Webb knew what he was doing in the crew. So what do you say? You want to do the
Let's
honors?
try it. Yeah,
All right.
we have samples of everything.
We have the Draconis strain, but um, keep that close to our vest. We know that this is working first. We've got 2 hours.
So we will try injecting some of the intruding substance coming into the room. Something
Are
that looks
you
like a vein.
are you just injecting a little bit? I mean, are you
Well, we
like how
want to
much
see
are
what
you?
just whatever.
Like a
Uh,
large syringe, something that you might not use on an actual person, but I don't want to say
we-
turkey based here, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no,
something like a little
so,
bigger than what you might use on a person.
so not too much, but just enough to try to get a
Yeah.
reaction. Okay,
a
yeah.
reaction.
And who is doing that?
I'll go ahead and do that if you want.
Sure.
Um,
You go up to and just sorry, just so I know, are you doing this in the room you were in, or are you going out into like the hallway?
I don't see why we shouldn't do it in this room.
Hmm.
So, if there's a place where it's, near the door.
Sure. So you go up uh, and you just find some of this is like biomechanical, kind of metal, but there are definitely some softer areas to it, like globules, essentially. You stick a syringe into it, and plunge the syringe. You can see the liquid that you've got that Ijiri created go in. And at first, nothing happens, and then the area starts to very quickly bubble and expand. Dr. Navarre, give me a mobility roll.
Ability. Where's mobility? Oh, I see it.
It's agility plus mobility plus all your stress.
It was mostly stress. Let's see. I got one, two, three sixes and no
Perfect.
negatives.
Because as you inject it and as it quickly starts to bubble, it essentially explodes out. You are able to move quickly enough out of the way, but the viscera of what had exploded out lands on the floor and starts to sizzle and eat away at the floor itself.
Dear
The
God.
the area around that starts to quickly turn black and very rapidly starts to die. But it because you limited how much you put in, it maybe only did like a 2 or 3 foot in circumference area that died, and then it kind of stopped. So whatever Ijiri made absolutely works, but
Limited.
it does not react well.
That we'd have to find some central location, perhaps the Chiron, which seems to be heart-like, uh,
Yeah.
and put I don't know, a fairly large amount in.
Fairly large amount,
Uh,
as well as I think we need to find a more something that we can inject it from a little bit more of a distance.
yeah, there's also the problem of it seems to have converted its circulatory fluid into an extremely power nucleic acid. It's eating right
Uh,
through the it's eating right through the floor, you see.
it might not work for the ship then. It could destroy the ship if we try to use it to get it off. But we if we can hurt the station in any way, that would be ideal.
Wondering if there's an internal sprinkler system in case of fires.
I
Hmm.
I think that there is absolutely an internal sprinkler system throughout this entire station that has probably been turned into some type of arterial thing with the proto hive.
We could trigger that and have pour the liquid into the main, you know, it's probably not water, but it's something like water.
Fire
Spread it all over
suppressant.
the ship.
That's an
However, we
excellent
should do
idea.
that just before we get the fuck off of the ship.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
we're
it's
doomed.
going to destroy the ship.
Hmm. So that will be we'll get enough made so that we can really damage this thing and get the hell off of this ship.
We'll contact everybody else in our party and tell them what we're planning.
It's so Jerry and Navarre, you're gonna make some more of that, or continue to make some more of that.
Yeah.
I feel like
Plus, I
that's
wonder.
go on.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. No,
I
go
was going to
ahead.
say,
Go.
could we also perhaps have a dart gun that fires syringes of the stuff in case the deacons or the perfected show up? Maybe it'll kill them just as easily.
Oh,
You are in a medical lab. You know what? I will give you that.
Okay.
You are in a medical lab. I think it would, and given that you're in a prison, I feel like they might have some type of
Sedative
like
gun.
sedative
Yeah.
dart gun thing, or even just like or at minimum like almost like a spear with a syringe at the end. So yeah, you can absolutely have that. Um, did none of the skills really kind of fall into this, and of course the scenario doesn't give anything, but I want you to roll something to see how long it takes you. Um, Dr. Azir, do you have Comtech?
Comtech.
I know that's not quite.
Yes, I do.
Actually, what's your highest skill?
My highest skill would be either mobility or command. Uh, my Comtech is 2. My other two are 3.
What's your medical aid?
My medical aid is 2.
Okay. I think let's do a medical aid roll. So medical aid plus empathy plus your
Stress dice.
stress. And you can add 2 dice to it.
Okay.
One for Dr. Navarre helping you, and one because you've already made this. This roll is not to see if you can remake it. It's to see how fast you can make it
Okay.
and how much.
Okay. So I have 4 empathy, 2 medical aid. So that's 6 plus 2 bonus plus 4 stress dice. That's a lot of dice. I have 1 success, but I do have I did get a 1 on one of my stress dice.
All right, go ahead and roll your panic, and let's see what that comes up with.
He starts.
That comes up with an 8.
8. Trembling. All right, that's fine. You start to tremble because you know you're under a lot of pressure. But despite the fact that you're shaking a bit, with Dr. Navarre there helping you, let's say it's going to take you about 2 turns, which is roughly 20 minutes,
Okay.
to create what you feel would be a big enough batch to inject into the system and have it replicate throughout and kind of control what you want. I will also say that during this time, Dr. Navarre, you confirm that yes, there is a sprinkler system that can be controlled from either a terminal with a successful Comtech roll or from daughter or mother without a successful roll. So by control, I mean you can tell it when to turn on and off.
Okay, but I'll have to know where the tank is.
Yeah, good point. So you all are on deck. Let me see here. Deck F. I think the tank. Will, Normally, I would say that it would be in the upper levels, because of gravity, but you're on a space station in the middle of space. I don't know if that actually applies to this. But let's say it is in it's in the observation or the operations deck B. Um, there was you've already been up there. There was, I believe, one room that you did not go to on your map. It probably says standby crew bunks. We're just going to retroactively change that to be,
Okay.
the tanks for the sprinkler system. All
So
right. So you all are working on that. Sergeant Sajad, you are heading towards the ship. Do me one favor, though. Give me a D4 roll. This is something that I forgot to have you do last episode.
There we go. There are no D4s in Alien. What is this?
Or you can just roll a D6 and ignore 5 and 6.
Couldn't possibly. All right, what do we got? 3.
So that is how many syringes of the was it napper leaf, I think,
Yeah.
that you were able to get. If you recall, when you and Lark were in the Chiron, you found some. We didn't say how many. You took one, so now you have 3 left over. So you are heading towards the Chiron from deck G. Sorry, I'm trying to remember which deck you all came on. You came on deck H. Was it deck H?
I think it was deck F, right? Kind
Yes,
of on
you
the
are
port
right.
side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, so you head up there, and it takes you a couple minutes, a little bit slower than most, but mostly because you are trying to dodge around all of the different hive that's just completely engulfing the
Yep.
place. In fact, there are some places where you almost have to pivot yourself through these like vines of muscular, metallic extrusions, coming from the hall. But eventually, you do get to the where the umbilical was
Yeah.
outstretched. If you
Yeah.
recall that Lugar said that she pushed out the umbilical from the Sederina, and you're able to get across there. It is disturbingly quiet as you go through both the hallways and the umbilical. The umbilical itself is also coded in this in the living hive. In fact, there are veins essentially going down the umbilical. The umbilical is translucent, and you can see it coating the outside as well. But as you get into the Chiron, you can hear Lugar just shouting orders at Hedenstrom, the other scientist. Basically, her trying to, get him to do repairs, which he's obviously not very good at. But you were there.
All right. Would going to her bunk where her armor is, would that kind of be in that same direction? Or is it because she doesn't have a lot that she feels that she needs to bug them about,
Oh,
if that makes
to
sense?
Sajad's.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just
yeah,
shots.
that would definitely be in that direction. Are you trying to do it without them seeing you, or are you just going?
I think she's just going. I
Okay,
don't think there is a sneakiness
okay.
to that.
Um, yeah, so you're walking through the hallway, kind of, however fast you want to go. And as you turn one corner, you see Hedenstrom right in front of you, and he kind of gasps and in shock. He's like, "Oh, Sergeant, you're here! Thank goodness you're here. We've got all this stuff we're trying to do. This stuff is coming in. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on." He just keeps
yeah,
going
yeah,
on
yeah,
and on and
yep,
on.
yep. Calm down, calm down.
Okay,
Hedenstrom, Hedenstrom, get your head in the game. We're working on some antiviral stuff. It's going to be fine. We need to just get this ship as close to ready as we can. Lark is working on parts. It will be it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay?
oh, okay. Um, so. What do you need us to do? And you again,
Yeah.
Lugar is just in the background, just shouting orders.
I
Doesn't
need
know
you
that
to
you're here.
yeah, I need you to listen to the captain.
Okay.
And you two work together, figure out what you need to do. I'm with all this stuff that's going on, I'm armoring up and I'll be back shortly and we'll figure this whole thing out, all right?
Okay. Okay. Um, is somebody getting the other parts that we need?
Yes, Lark is on it right now. Just get stay calm. Everybody else has held on to it. You need to as well.
Okay.
So yeah, go let Lugar know. I'll be in a minute or two.
Okay. And he goes running off. You make it into your bunk. What are you going to grab?
She is going to pop a little bit of that uh tequila and just have it on the counter and be taking swigs as she's putting on the armor, which I think is from one of the Alien movies, but it kind of looks like padded
Mhm.
outfits with like a full face mask of metal, uh, almost like a hockey sort of
Okay.
uniform.
Okay.
And then yeah, she'll head towards the main area wherever Luger and Hedenstrom are.
Okay. As this probably takes you 5-10 minutes to get everything. You're pretty trained at this. You've done it 100 times before, so it's not too difficult. As you walk in, Hedenstrom is underneath one of the consoles, doing something. Lugar is looking at one of the readouts from one of the terminals, turns and sees you, and is a little bit startled to see you walk in full armor.
Mhm.
She says, "What the hell are you doing? Are we going to war?"
Yeah, just really?
What?
Are you sure, Lark? Fuck.
What are you talking about?
And Sajad racks her shotgun and shoots at the captain, Lugar.
Go ahead and give me a roll. This would be a ranged combat. Um, yeah, just go ahead and let's see what happens.
He's not good at ranged combat.
You know what? You can have because you're so close. This is going to be a +3 to it.
Okay. Uh, that doesn't help. That doesn't matter, but still 2 successes.
All right, perfect. You catch Lugar off guard, and you are close enough that uh, you basically just blow a hole in her chest, and she goes flying back onto one of the terminals. Do you have your comms open?
Uh, yeah, I think that she does, and Lark would have been hearing that of like, "Are you sure?" And then, yeah, that explosion and whatever scream.
Your comms open to everybody or just Lark?
I think everybody. That's more
Okay.
fun.
So as this happens, you hear Sajad, saying this, and Lark, even before you can respond, you all hear this gunshot, this shotgun blast, and then Hedenstrom just starts screaming, "What's going? What the hell did you do?"
Oh, sorry. And she'll just take him out too.
All right, and you all hear another shotgun blast. Let's take a couple minutes back though. Lark, you are heading. I believe we had said that on. I'm trying to remember. What was it? Deck G. There was a bulk storage, and that's where you were going.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So, um, you had just you kind of parted ways with Navarre and Sajad. Um, heading fortunately you were pretty close to where you needed to go. You kind of go down the hallway again, the proto hive just everywhere. Going to down the hallway, finally turning to the bulk storage, or actually as you're about to turn down the hallway to where the bulk store, that one of the doors to the bulk storage is, you hear some noise at the end, and you just kind of instinctively peer around, looking down that hallway. If you're looking at the map, it's right about where junction G10 is, and you can see two of the androids at the end of the hallway. They are just kind of standing there, facing down your direction. You don't see them, but go ahead and give me an observation roll.
Sure thing. Two successes.
I'm sorry, how much?
Two.
Two. Awesome. So you with the extra, you get to ask a question about the situation, but you notice that there's something wrong with the androids. They're were obviously modified to begin with to act as the guards, but you instantly see how when you saw them before, their eyes were kind of like this pale blue, as they were communicating back with mother and so on. Their eyes are glowing red, which means that they are not communicating with Mother, even though Mother is back up and functioning. And they're also there's something a little bit off with them. You don't know if they're malfunctioning, but their movements are a little jerky, which you would not know a reason for outside of some type of interference with them or malfunction with them. But you do get to ask a question if you would like about the situation.
What is a threat to me right now in this moment?
Are you talking about in general or with them?
Like, I guess with them, or if there's something that they're reacting to, maybe that I can kind of ping off of.
Sure. You feel that they are, because they're acting erratically, that it's possible that there is something else controlling them, that would have hostile intent towards you. In other words, you don't know how they're going to react to you,
Right.
but you suspect it's not going to be
Yeah, they're a
positive.
threat. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do I have the sense that they know I'm here? Or
You don't think that they know that you're there yet. You kind of caught it in time and
right. Okay. Can I still scavenge for parts? Is there a way to do that while being hidden from them?
if you want to go down that corridor,
Oh, I'd have to like pass them.
you'd have to go right past them.
Okay.
There is another door into this bulk storage, but you will have to pass, by the hallway. So there is a possibility that they'll see you, or you can try to find another bulk storage. There is another one. So you're on the ports. Is it the port side?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
trying to sorry, I'm trying to
you're on
find
the starboard side. You could there is another one you could try to go to on the port side and see if that one is clear.
Yeah, I'll try that one instead.
Okay. Are you going to kind of go? There's two ways that you can go. There's the shorter way, which will take you through the assembly hall. You won't have to pass that hallway that they're in, or there's a longer way where you go back through the chute. You have not gone through the assembly hall, so you don't know what that is like, but you have, gone through the area with the chute in the past.
Right. Okay. I'll take the shorter path.
Okay.
Get done with this.
Sure. So you backtrack a little bit, go down the hallway, and open it up into the assembly hall. And this is a fairly large room that probably the crew would gather. It kind of feels like in Alien, where they're kind of all sitting around that like dining table type area. That's kind of what it feels like. There's like some couches or seating areas around the outside and so on. But the entire place is covered in the proto hive, so much so that you have difficulty going through this area. There is also a lot of very strong radiation in here, so I will need you to add one rad and then roll dice equal to the number of rads that you have, and you take a point of damage for every 6 you get.
Okay. That is no successes on 3 rads.
Okay, so you are okay. I'm just realizing that system seems very counterintuitive, but all right. Anyways, so you make it through. You make it down to the other junction into the bulk storage, and you are able to find the. Trying to remember what you needed. So you had gotten the batteries, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
You had found some tools, and you needed some of the parts for the thruster. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's parts for the thrusters. You get in there and you do find the parts that you need. As you're in there, kind of gathering what you need, the room itself is closed off. You hear noise coming down the hallway of two other androids,
Okay.
almost as if they were on patrol.
Can I
And
like
this is the time when you hear Sergeant Sajad reaching the ship and the shotgun blasts. So you all heard this. I will let you take it from here.
Nor report? What's your status?
Secured the set arena, Lark.
What's going on? Is the captain, Hedstrom,
They're
are
taken
they,
care of. They weren't to be trusted, obviously.
were they
Wait,
working on the
what?
ship? Were they working to repair the ship?
Uh, let me see. And you'll like maybe hear Sajad is picking out like the like if they have an ID thing, she's going through what remains of the pockets to pull it out and see just how far the captain and Hedenstrom had gotten.
They had gotten pretty far. They were just kind of tuning up the ship. It was really just missing those parts. They had kind of repaired all the minor damage, but as soon as they got those parts, the ship would be and installed. The ship would be functional enough.
Yes, excellent, excellent. Yep. Looks like we just need the parts Lark is going for, and then we can get this the ship started. They were necessary at this point, and with what we know, we couldn't trust them.
I'm listening in. Uh, Whatever. We need to make sure that the ship isn't infected.
Uh, the ship is very infected, I believe. I think everything on the station's infected, isn't it?
Well, we've got a poison that'll kill it. So,
Oh, while we're on it,
no, I think
I
we need
wouldn't
to kill
recommend
it.
it.
Would this poison destroy the ship in the process?
It might. It seems to react with acid.
Well,
If we
then that
could,
doesn't sound very advisable to me, Dr. Navarre. Is that
if
why
we could
we
do
pass up
something
this
to
gate?
cut it off,
Yeah, I think once we have the parts installed in the set arena, um, we should be able to undock it, and then yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Ketsu,
No, that's a good point. Yeah, no, maybe we leave it. We should probably leave the station as is. Like, people are going to want to study this,
I, I am not
right?
I am not certain that it's a good idea to take the Draconis strain on the ship with the FTL. Um,
I think these perfected are dangerous. We have samples. That's what we were hired to, that's what we were sent here for, I
we
believe.
don't have the ship isn't going to be safe. It's going to be with us if we take it as is.
I mean,
Ketsu, do you have a test to see if a human is infected?
That was my next mission that was my next project after we created this. But right now, it has to be the priority that we have a plan, Dr. Navarre and I, to inject large amount of this necrotic virus into the ship to hopefully destroy it. But we need to be off the ship.
right. So
We
We
might not
don't
have
have
a
anywhere to
choice.
go, though.
yeah, we need
We
the
don't have
set
a choice.
arena.
We may have to take the set arena as is if once we
Right.
get the parts in. I don't see any other choice. There's no way to get this stuff off without just the necrotic virus will cause even more damage to the ship and we'll be stranded here. So we have to be
I agree
off
with
the ship.
Dr. Navarro, though. We can't risk spreading this disease, this whatever it is, across the universe.
I
So we
mean,
destroy the station, leave in our ship, flag Wayland, and tell them that the ship is contaminated and to prepare a quarantine zone for our arrival. We
Right.
isolate ourselves,
Huh.
they can clean the
Wayland.
ship.
Corporation, sure, right.
I think we need a backup plan. We should tell them that, but I think we need to rig the ship to destroy the ship before they can get their hands on it. I think that would be the worst thing in the world to hand this over right now, the ship to
I think we
The
need to
Arabs.
focus
To
on getting
Wayland?
away from this place right now. I'm gathering
If
the last of the supplies we need.
I agree with
I
Mark.
think this stuff comes from Wayland.
How could this stuff
This
come from Wayland? What are you talking about?
it came from the Chiron. It was a Wayland ship that was doing experiments, what,
Well,
60
On a
years ago?
planet, on a planet
Right.
somewhere. They got contaminated wherever they were.
the planet that was here and they turned it into a black
Yes, now
hole.
it's this black hole. I don't believe
Look,
this is some grand conspiracy.
no.
If
N-
what they want is FTL so they can get away and infect other worlds.
hmm.
The
How do we
ship
know we're not?
has FTL,
Yes, so
How do
and
we know that?
if it's being converted into this biomechanical thing, does it even need a crew? Can it just take off and go if it's infected, control itself?
I just think it's a bad idea. The Draconis strain is what will create more perfected, and we don't want to bring that on the ship with the FTL.
then what do you
It's
propose we do, Dr. Ajiri?
I do have control over the lifeboats on this station. So if we can ensure that we're not infected, then we can escape in the lifeboats, send this station and the Centurina into the black hole, and wait for pickup.
Do the lifeboats have cryo? Because we'll be waiting for a very long time.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
And it's better than dying from
What
this stuff. But
and what shape?
If they're not
I don't know
infected.
who is infected, and we don't have a test for that yet.
Well,
So I know I'm infected.
by putting
So
all of us in cryo, it would delay the infection. Um, me and Dr. Navarre perhaps could work on, well, the four of you are in there before we go into cryo, see if we can find some kind of test so that we can test who is infected and who isn't. Um, are the escape pods even usable, or are they corrupted as well?
Are they infected?
Yeah.
I think everything on the
probably
ship might be infected by
I mean,
now.
we're dwindling down to options. The only option would not even have to involve self-sacrifice to prevent millions of people from suffering from this. I think we might be at that point if we can't get our ship off of this, if we can't use the escape pods, we might have no choice.
So
I
yeah,
agree with you,
let's
Tetsu.
We can't
let's
let this
not
get
worry.
out in the universe.
Let's not worry too much. We still have the set arena. We can get that out,
Mm,
and then we can worry about that.
all right.
Is everything remote? Do you have that remote? Like, what is your plan for this antivirus?
We plan on launching it from a distance at close to the moment where we're getting off this ship, but hopefully a remote would be ideal because we can be off the ship when we inject this thing into it.
Wait, so
I-
it's like a missile with is it a giant syringe? What are we talking about? I'm assuming Sajad has not heard your
yeah,
sprinkler plan.
I think we explained it as it's something that we're going to launch into it. Like not, it's almost like a missile, I would imagine. Something that will go into the coolant supply, whatever they use for the to suppress fires, and that will
Mm.
pump it through the ship.
Got it. That makes sense.
But we probably need to be off the ship to do that. What if we work to get some of the life pods out as well as the Santorina, just as a backup plan, have the lifeboats ready to go. Is there any way that the lifeboats could dock with the Santarina at some point, or no?
Yeah, I would say there's not really a good description of them, but they would have to have some type of controls, some propulsion, and it's not gonna you're not gonna be obviously going at FTL or super high speeds, that they're really not meant for that.
Because maybe we could launch the the escape pods remotely, take off on the Santarina, and then transfer to the escape pods if we need to. That way, we're not putting ourselves at risk, but everything will be off the ship, at least away from being destroyed by this necrotic virus when we release it throughout. I think that might just to get them off the ship and see where we are with the pieces. But
Tetsu, I am not comfortable having a faster than light ship infected, roaming free. We can't take a chance
that's
that we
why I'm
might be able to
hoping we
figure
can
something out. We
see.
either do or we all end here with the virus.
That's kind of what we're siphoning down to running out
I'm
of
switching
options.
to a private channel with just Seija and Dr. Tetsuo.
Mhm.
We have a progressive people ship that will be here, and it can rescue the three of us. Uh, and it's not infected. It hasn't touched a damn thing. But we're not taking uh, the others. They're not part of the progressive peoples.
Could
I'm not
we?
getting on that ship while I'm infected. And I'm not letting either of you either
Well,
if we're not sure.
we could put you right into cryo, and then I can
Hmm.
start working on the tests to see who's infected and who isn't. But in the more immediately, what if we took them prisoner, Dr. Navarre, as we're always doing exchanges of prisoners. We can get them back to where they belong at some
I
point.
don't know that we've got any room on the ship. They were only expecting two people.
Hmm.
Now we've got three. These ships aren't made for guests.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, do you know what mark ship this is? To how
I
many
have no
cryo
idea,
pods?
actually.
Right.
I don't know what the answer is, but
Well, I mean, if you're willing to take them as prisoners, I'm willing to give up my seat. I don't want to see people die. I mean, we do prisoner exchanges all the time with the UPP, and
look, this we don't have time for this.
I
Make up
know.
your choice. Either you're coming with us or you're not coming with us.
More importantly, none of us, again, none of us are leaving unless
Well,
we know we're
Drabikowski, you might
uninfected.
have a death wish, but I think they can figure out how this stuff works and cure us.
I'm uh I'm using the override to lock down all the airlocks.
You dick.
Wait, say that again.
I'm using the override to lock down all the airlocks. Nobody can open them without me.
Ah,
We, I, my goal, I'm concerned about my friend, Dr. Navarre. Says just one of my dearest friends in the world, and I'm committed to finding a cure for this. Perhaps you yourself are infected. Obviously, I want to help you or anyone who becomes infected. If we can have a cure, we'll be in a lot better shape than if this does get out in the world, because they're not going to stop. This is going to happen again, and we won't be able to do anything because we won't be involved. So if we can work on a cure with what we know
it
to
could
get
take
away,
months,
I
even
know,
years to have a cure.
but
Uh, we don't have more than, you said, what, 2 hours? Now we've got
yeah,
what, like 45 minutes? Um,
I don't. If my friend Seja leaves, I will go with her, and I will go with you. Um, because it's Seja that I'm most concerned for. And I'm not going to be able to do anything to help her.
Well, Sage is apparently
That
willing to kill us all.
well, let's see what happens. I understand wanting to prevent this from spreading, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. I really do not know what to do. I don't care about myself. I'm worried about all of you. And I mean, I have nothing back there. That's why I'm willing to go with you. I mean, there's nothing for me. I just would rather.
I'm just going
I'm a
to turn
doctor.
off
I'm a medical
communications.
doctor. I'm a medical doctor. This is what we do. We save lives, and if it means sacrificing mine, if I'm
I
still just talking to Sage, I'm like, if it means sacrificing mine,
You're in the same room as Navarre.
oh,
no, I was climbing up, going up to fill
oh,
the
to be,
tank
that's right. Okay, yeah.
Oh, all right.
with,
So
with
if you're going
poison.
up to fill the tank, Jerry,
I'm
what do
just
you
gonna
do?
We're talking on.
If Seja hasn't closed the channel, but Dr. Navarre has, I'm just gonna go Seja. I will sacrifice myself if you think that's what's best too. I mean, I know what you're saying. Sometimes you have to weigh the lives of the many against the lives of the few. Oh,
Exactly, Tetsu. I knew you'd understand. The people are greater than the individuals.
yeah. All right. If we have to blow it all, we'll blow it all.
But if we can figure out how to test for the infection and to cure all of us,
Oh, if I have enough
I'm not crazy. I'm not looking to kill myself.
yeah, I don't
But
know if we have enough time. We've been given this ultimatum. They can't
well,
get the Draconis strain. I know that.
I
We may have
trust
to
you to
make
do
the
your
decision.
best.
We may just have to make the decision. What could you do if we had to blow the station, even if we're all on it? What would it
I
take?
just engage the thrusters and send us into the black hole.
All right, let's keep that as a backup plan for now. Let's see what we can do. I don't know if I can find a way to even just test for this virus in people with the limited amount of time I have left before they come looking. But I'm
I
going to start.
understand.
I'm going to take a, I'm obviously, I'm going to just, whatever I can think of, cut as many shortcuts as I can, try to find a test for this thing.
Thanks.
Obviously not, we're going to be, the testing the test will be us actually testing ourselves. Um,
Well, I know I'm infected, so, but we don't know
we don't know
if
about
there's
the rest
anyone
of
that
us.
isn't.
We may all be
So,
infected. If we know that, then it'll be easier to make the decision not to just to make the decision for the greater good. All right. I'll see what I can do.
So as this whole conversation is going on, Lark, you are in the storage room, kind of hearing this conversation go on and seeing the shadows outside the door of where you're at, of the two androids walking down and stopping in front. What do you want to do?
Have they seen me yet? Excuse me.
They have not.
All right. I think if I can like retreat into like the room, it's all like further,
Hmm.
just hoping that they'll keep passing by, I guess.
Okay. Um,
Do I get the
they
sense that these are the same ones?
Actually,
Probably
you
hard to
you
tell.
don't. You think
Yeah.
that maybe this is another patrol. There's probably a little window or something there.
Sure.
You can see as they pass by. Um, they have the same kind of. You see the same reddish glow as they walk by. It seems like they're patrolling that hallway. They walk past. At the end of the hallway is an airlock, so they're not going to be going very far. So you have maybe a minute or two before they
Okay.
turn around and potentially come back
I see.
to where you're at. Again, there are two doors to the room. There's, say, north and south. They were at the south.
Okay. Well, then I'm trying to find what I'm here for and beat feet, probably in the other door.
Okay. Um, Go ahead and give me then a mobility roll. So that's mobility plus agility plus stress.
Okay. I don't know why I was staring at it the whole time. You just think it would have bit me. Nothing.
No successes?
No. No
Okay.
ones, no successes.
All right. So you are able to find what you're looking for, but the unfortunately when you were looking for the thruster components, we're just going to call them that, you find a box with them, but unfortunately as you are going to get them, they're kind of buried a little bit, and so it takes you longer to get that. You get the components, but the door to the south opens up and you can see the two androids standing there, and in this very distorted, almost wavy voice, they command you to stop. uh, Basically, they say cease your actions and come with us, but it's a very disturbing, like wavy, high-pitched voice.
Can I ask the purpose of this?
They just respond negative. You must come with us and begin to move forward towards you.
Okay.
They don't have, I should say, they just like all of them that you've seen, they have the shock sticks. They don't have guns.
Sure. Tell your master that we can't fix a faster than life component on a ship if they don't allow us to do the work.
I think it's a manipulation roll. Go ahead and roll that.
Three successes.
Awesome. Um, so they're almost like walking in unison in their kind of like jerky way. And as you say that, they stop. And their eyes, even though they're glowing that red, they start to, what you would know that they're kind of communicating with something. And the voice that responds back says, "Permission granted. You have 90 minutes to complete your task."
So I've heard. I'm gonna take my box and go.
All right, so you start heading back. Sergeant Sajad, what are you doing?
I'm gonna calm Sajad and say, look,
Okay.
I got
Yeah.
all the parts. You need start getting stuff ready.
Okay. Uh, yeah, I think if there's that, and forgive me, I don't recall if this was on the full line. Colonel Doctor, you said to everyone that you're shutting all the airlocks?
No, I didn't. I
Okay.
didn't intend to tell
Okay.
anyone that
Okay.
actually. I
In that
just
case,
wanted to
yes.
tell Tyler that.
That is
Oh,
perfect.
so
All
you
I'm,
did. Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All I'm doing then is prepping the ship.
Okay. So I mean, you're kind of going around, prepping everything. As
Yep.
you go through, you see there's, again, the proto hive has a firm grasp on the ship. Not as much inside as
Mhm.
within the Erebos, but as you pass some of the observation windows within
Yep.
the Citrina, you can see outside how the living hive is on the outside of the Erebos as well, and it has started to move down the umbilical and kind of starts to slowly wrap itself around the ship. Okay, so Dr. Navarre, you are heading up towards the tanks.
Yes.
In order to do so, you are going to have to go up a couple levels through the chute. You need to go all the way up to deck B, I believe I said. Um, Are you just heading straight there? What is your plan?
Yeah, my plan is to go straight there.
Okay. Um,
Probably because whatever I have is heavy and I need to dump it in the tank.
okay. It's going to take you a little while to get up there.
Okay.
If nothing else, it's slow going. You have to get around the hive, and then you have to go up the zero graph chute in order to get up there. So I'm gonna hold off on doing anything with you just for
Okay.
the minute or for a minute. And that takes us to Dr. Ujiri. Um, I guess I'm confused where you are and what you were doing.
I was in the lab. We created our necrotic virus, which Dr. Navarre is going to deliver to the tanks so we can spread it throughout. However, I'm trying desperately to see if I can come up with some kind of test to see if something that looks for antibodies or something that might be able to tell that someone's been infected by the Draconis strain, because I also have that. And I'm guessing I can quickly computer model something that would do it as an antibody. I'd start producing that rapidly too to see if I can do some kind of test, and then I probably would test it on myself first to see if I have
Well,
enough time.
you probably don't have enough time
Mhm.
to create like an antibody. You can start the
It,
process on the computers if you want,
just a
but
way to detect the virus,
detect
maybe
it.
not.
Actually detecting it. Yes, you could absolutely do that. Uh, it would, in fact, Webb probably had some notes on that. So go ahead and just to see how fast it does, because you'll need to kind of like use the computer to model this. Go ahead and roll Comtech for that one.
I have a story point, or yeah,
Oh
story
yeah,
point. Can I use that to just automatically succeed? Because I think this
sure,
is really important being able to test right now, just after.
sure,
Okay, so I'll use my story point and I will come up with some kind of test.
okay. So yeah,
More for the
it,
presence of antibodies for this thing than actual making the antibodies.
right. Well, so for the
Something that will test to see if someone's infected with
okay,
the
all right, all right.
Draconis, right?
All
Yeah.
right. So yeah, it's going to take you a little bit, but you are able to do that. What do you want the test to be?
Um, the test, I want it to just be something where I can take a quick blood sample, maybe
Okay, so like a blood test
yeah,
type
like a
thing.
blood test type of
Sure.
thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. With the med lab and everything in there, you are able to absolutely do that. So Dr. Navarre is heading up to Deck B in order to uh, put the stuff into the sprinkler system. Dr. Jerry is working on this. Sergeant is going through the ship, prepping it. Lark has the tools and is taking it back to the ship. Colonel Drabakowski, you are still within daughter, correct?
Correct. And one of the things I want to do with any time I have available is, as much as possible, scan through this information I have about ironfish to make sure that it doesn't have anything about the Draconis strain that would allow anybody to use it, so that I can prepare to, if we do need to go in the black hole, prepare to send whatever's safe to my people to help them with the cause.
So in this time, you're kind of going through all the communications, and you 100% find communications between um, Wayland Yutani and Sykes, or is it Sykes, the warden, um, where he was sending back messages to back to Wayland Yutani of the status of everything that was going on about the discovery of the Chiron, of of what Webb and the other scientists were doing in order to try to counteract it, and so on. The reason it was captured is because the Project Ironfish was basically capturing all communications. So there is while there, you know what, I will even say that Webb at one point was trying to back up his data by sending it to, I don't know, future Google, whatever his future Google
Cloud
Drive,
storage.
whatever it is, as like a backup. And so it got caught in there. So there's definitely enough information in there that to at least make whoever has this data knowledgeable about it. Maybe not to easily replicate it, but at least give them an idea, a pretty good idea of what it is.
Well, if he's already sent that to Wayland Yutani, then I have to make sure that the people are protected against Wayland Yutani. So, definitely whatever has been sent to Wayland Yutani goes into the pile to be sent to our rescue maybe ship.
Okay.
But as much as possible, trying to make sure that I'm not sending anything that's biologically dangerous.
Okay. So about 20 minutes has passed. You have all been doing this. Lark, you have made it back. You're heading down the umbilical now towards the Ceterina. Dr. Ijiri, you have made it to or have come up with your test. Dr. Navarre, you are stepping off of the chute into deck B when Colonel Draconis, it actually, anybody who's around a terminal, which would actually probably be all of you, you start the screens start flashing, proximity alert, ship approaching. And Colonel Draconis, you get a message on your screen that says, "This is the UPP vessel." Sorry, I need its name. This is the UPP vessel Snova Dracuna. Please transmit Ironfish data prior to rescue. And the colonel is the only one who sees this. The rest of you on the terminal can see that there is a ship approaching.
Yeah, I start sending over the data that I know is safe.
All right. The rest of you, Sergeant and Lark, you are on the ship where it's at. The Ceterina, you are on the opposite side of it. You remember the space station is spinning, so you can't like physically see it if you were looking out a window. Navarre and Ijiri, you probably could if you wanted to maneuver around enough. But Colonel, you start. Go on. I'm sorry.
I know the ship that I'm expecting. So for my terminal, I'm going to try and contact them, even though my terminal doesn't show who they are.
I also want to communicate with them and say, we're under quarantine. Do not dock.
I'm going to be like, there's a ship out there. I have the test. We can test ourselves. We can't allow them to dock. Yeah, exactly. We cannot allow them to dock until, well, I didn't hear it, Seja, but we cannot allow them to dock. So we're going to have to send them a warning.
Warning sent Tetsu.
Like a medical warning, like do not dock. Do not dock.
What ship is this? Do any of you know about this?
Clear everyone. I have no idea what ship this is. Is it a Wayland Yutani? I don't even know.
We don't have eyes on it, and we haven't received any comms. So
can I look out some kind of port or something and see if I can...
Yeah, you can look out. You see this very large warship approaching with UPP, symbols and flags or whatever on it. You've seen the news. You've seen all this. You recognize this as a UPP destroyer spaceship.
So I see it, and I know now it's not a small ship, and they could take all of
No,
them.
I mean, it's not a huge ship, but it's, let's say, the ship that they came in Aliens, let's say it's about, one and a half times the size of that. You do
Okay.
know that it is meant for war. So it would be, normally it would fully be loaded with weapons.
I'm going to send them the message too that they need to maintain at least half a kilometer's distance from the ship, that the ship seems to be infected with a life form that will literally reach out and grab your ship. Don't approach. Will come to you.
So you're transmitting this to
Yeah.
them. All right.
We might come to them.
I don't think I don't think the ship is here for um it's not one of ours. I just want everyone to know that. It's not one of our ships. Maybe we may be able to escape on this ship once we've all taken the test and know we're clear. Um, but you don't send a ship this large to rescue a couple people. Um, or to I don't know well, I don't know if they're here to rescue anyone.
Well,
They are
perhaps they've
armed.
been
This
sent
is
to
a
blow the
warship.
station out of
They
orbit.
could blow this station out of orbit. Something's preventing them from doing that right away, though. I'm not sure what, but
Well, as you say
we can
that,
bargain with them.
as you say that over the comms, Colonel, your upload finishes. And Dr. Navarre and Colonel Drabakovsky, since you were communicating with him, you both get this message. Transmission received, or transmission successfully received. Our scans confirm presence of Class 4 biological contamination aboard your ship. Per Article 17, subsection C of the UPP Quarantine Mandate 442K, any craft exhibiting such anomalies within our jurisdiction is to be classified as non-recoverable. Rescue denied and canceled. Containment protocols are now in effect. You will be granted 90 seconds for final transmission or self-termination rights. May your deaths serve the greater collective.
I'm going to type back and say, I have samples I have collected of this virus. Could be developed into a very powerful weapon for the UPP.
You have no response.
I record
I'm
a final
assuming
message for my family and ship it to them.
it,
As you're recording this, all of you on the terminals, you're near. Warning messages start going off of activation of weapons from the nearby vessel. Those of you who are and Lark and you're at this point, you have come through the umbilical into the Ceterina. The warnings are going off.
I'm
The
going
Go on.
to hail the ship and say, "This is Dr. Tetsu Ajiri. I have developed a weapon. If you do anything to us, I guarantee that you will be in the same boat immediately after." It's a bluff, obviously. You will
You know
be
what?
infected
Go
as
ahead
well.
and give me a manipulation.
Manipulation is
Sorry, it's empathy plus manipulation plus your stress die.
four. All right, so four regular, four stress. So I'm so screwed. I have one success, but it's on my stress die. And I have no ones on my stress die, but I do have one six.
So you send your transmission and you get a response. The response basically just says, "We are sorry, but thank you for your service." And with that, there is the weapons sensors start to go wild on every terminal as it indicates that a nuclear weapon has been fired from this from the approaching ship. You can all see on your screens this like blip coming closer, and there's an ETA that counts down from 10, 9, 8.
I'm
I'm gonna
running
yell
for
out.
an escape pod.
The
I
escape
am
pods
going.
are on the lowest deck.
I'm gonna yell out. Try to contact the perfected. You said you would protect us. If you want this virus strain, do something about that incoming nuke.
Count down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there is a brilliant flash outside of the ship. The entire space station starts to rock, and everybody is thrown down to their feet. The ship, the lights inside of the ship start to go super bright to the point where you are all blinded for a second. Larkin Sajad, you see this increase in power as well, although not as bright where you're at. The sensors on all of the terminals just start to go wild as the nuclear explosion that happened detonated before it reached the Erebos itself, and the trawling arms have basically started to suck in all of the extra energy that has been produced, causing an increase in the energy within all of the ship. What you notice as this happens, once your vision starts to come back, is that the living hive, where it was pulsing and glowing before, almost like with a heartbeat, has slowed down temporarily. However, on all of the terminals, once you start to pull yourself back up, you see that there are warning sensors all over of systems failing throughout the entire ship. It states that the trying to find it, the starboard, yes, the starboard side of decks F and G are basically destroyed. That emergency airlocks have been deployed. And you can all feel the ship or the space station itself starting to spin and turn and head towards lose orbit as it starts to careen towards the black hole, lost in the gravitational pull. What would you all like to do?
Nor get us the hell out of here if we can. At least detach the damn umbilical.
Afraid, why don't you begin the fixes? I don't really have a lot of capability there. Uh, our people are, yeah, gone. Yeah, go ahead and start that. Start that. I have something I need to do. And Sajad um, will head back across the umbilical to a console there to try and get like a feel of losing orbit and that kind of thing.
It's actually very difficult to walk across the umbilical just due to everything that has just happened. As you kind of pass by some of the observation windows, you can see the destruction outside of, bits and pieces of, big portions of the ship just kind of floating away. One of the trawling arms you can see it floating, being pulled into the black hole. You can also see that the UPP destroyer, it finally comes into view, and it looks like they miscalculated how close they were to the ship because some of the blast has affected them, and the ship looks like it has lost power and is basically drifting and rolling towards the black hole as well.
Yeah, Sajad would just at that point like to get on the console and
Okay.
access the intercoms,
Yep, you can do that.
um, and just hit it. Lark, come on, get to the set arena. We need everybody on board because we're leaving right now. For those that can't fit, the the sprinkler system is contaminated. You need to hurry now. Get in here, Lark. Come on.
Lark is in the set arena.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think
But that
I
is
think
the
for
message.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry,
That's Lark.
sorry,
Hurry.
sorry.
Yeah, Lark, hurry. Yeah.
Okay. The rest of you hear this over the intercom. Dr. Navarre, you're on deck B. You're picking yourself up. What would you like to do?
I'm going to hit the big red button that floods the system with the tank
So
poison.
all right. So you're putting the virus, the necrotic virus, into there. Um, are you having it? You're not having it deploy yet, are you? Or
Yes, I'm going to hit the button to deploy. I think that we're all going to be dead in a few seconds
okay.
anyway.
It's going to take about a minute for it. So let me put it into perspective. You could put it in there, but the virus needs to replicate throughout all the system. You can cycle it through, and you know what? Give me a
Well, I shouldn't have to stand there to do that. So
no. But give me either a Comtech or heavy machinery, whichever is higher for you, to see how fast you are able to get it to cycle through the ship, and that will dictate how long it takes for it to.
do I need to roll my panic dice or
Yes.
my?
Oh yeah. Because you're kind of fiddling with the controls to do this, opening and closing various valves to cycle it through in pumps.
I got two successes and no failures.
Awesome. So you are able to get it to start cycling through the entire uh, system.
System, yeah.
It's going to take, let's say it takes a turn to get to. I'm trying to think how to do this. Every 5 minutes that you give it, that is another level on the space station, which is going to have that in there. So, just keep that in mind. You can deploy it at any time, but it's going to, and it's,
It'll take time.
well, you're at the top level because the colonel blew off the level above you. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but every 5 minutes is another level.
I think I will. I think that I'm going to die now. So uh, I hit the button to start deploying it, and then I go over and look out the observation window. As the whole station turning.
The whole station is churning. It's the orbit is definitely decaying as it is going towards the slowly going towards the black hole.
I'll try to make my way back to the ship.
Okay, and that leaves us with Jerry and the Colonel. You're picking yourselves up.
Seja, I have the test. I have Adrian. I think we should head for the ship and then find out from there before we decide what to do, who's infected and who isn't. And I'm like, I think I would have Dr. Navarre on the line too. Dr. Navarre, try to get to the ship. We're trying all to get to the ship to meet up with Lark and say, and Sajad. I've got everybody on the comm. I have a test. We can once we know if we're infected or not, we can decide what to do from there.
So, and just to let you all know too, you're in decaying orbit. You haven't reached that event horizon yet where there's no turning back. So there's always a chance that you could get into lifeboats and escape the gravitational pull still.
The thing is that they're not going to let us live. They've already deemed us
They look
exterminatable.
they look like they're they look like they're not in any shape to do anything about it right now.
Yeah, Tetsu, I'm not sure any of the ships can save us, but the lifeboats are an option.
Maybe. All right, I'm going to take Adrian and I'm going to take
Tetsu, have you
the
tested
test.
yourself?
I was about to until we were
Tetsu,
attacked.
test yourself, please.
I'm going to do it right now.
Here's the honest thing, in my opinion. If we can get out of here, even if we're infected, if this stuff gets out, it could destroy everything. But if we can get it, it could still do that, even if we don't get out.
Yeah.
We give them a chance to find a cure, find a way to stop it. So that's what we're trying to get out.
Yeah.
Agreed. Especially, if Tetsu is uninfected and can get to a lifeboat, I think that's the best we can hope for.
How do you know you're infected, Seja? Without the test, how do you know?
It's in my eyes. I've seen the worms.
You all are
in
at
my eyes.
you all are at near terminals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say even at this point, the colonel kind of flips on the terminal cam, and as you, Jerry, and Navar, as you are looking at him, you can see how his eyes are more than bloodshot. There is black varicose veins just all over his face, his arms. You even see, or her, sorry, you even see little like worm-like creatures every so often go across her eyes.
It's a mutagen. It's changing our DNA.
How would I know if I'm infected or not? I've just taken the test. What would I do to
Look in the
get the
mirror.
answer?
Can always
I'm
get
not-
to the life
I think I'm
pod
not-
and choose then.
All right, we'll go to the life pods. If you guys can get on this out on the set arena, if you think you can take that.
Tyler, is it faster to try to get to a lifeboat, or is it faster to try to repair the Centurina and detach, like before it all gets pulled into this
Yeah.
gravitational pull? Like
So-
just fast enough to at least repair it enough to like undock and get out of the pull, even if it's like we don't have everything repaired yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I will say that the only thing that you really need to do in order to get the ship going, not to FTL, but to get
Right.
it going, is to repair the thrusters, which would be we'll say it's a heavy machinery roll to do so.
Probably.
And that'll probably take you about 10 minutes of work to do. It would. For anybody kind of in the middle of the ship, it's probably going to take that long, if not a little bit longer, to get to the level, I think it's J, that has the lifeboats. Dr. Navarre, it's going to take you, probably twice as long because you're at the very top of the space
Yeah.
station.
I'm gonna head to the lifeboats, but I've tested myself and Adrian. I'm testing Adrian too. And I want, it depends on the results. Let's put it that way.
They both come back as clean.
All right, then let's go, Adrian. Let's go to the lifeboats. I was going to go anyway, but just give you the cat. The cat is getting off the station.
Yeah.
All right, so you're heading down to the lifeboats. What are
Yeah.
the rest of you doing?
I'm working on the thrusters.
Okay.
I've
No.
got tests with me too as I go because we're gonna.
I'm heading towards the lifeboat.
I'm
Okay.
looking at the photo of my family, but prepared to help Tetsu get in a lifeboat and flee.
Okay.
And then once that communication has gone out over the station intercom, I'll go back and help Lark. We got to get this fixed.
So, Tyler, would my control over the airlock keep anyone from getting on the ship from the Erebos?
No, because
Okay,
well, actually, hold on. Let me double check. It's been forever since we
They
we
could
we
cut
did
their
where you
way
guys.
in.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think the umbilical is kind of not at an airlock, but I can
Yeah,
double.
I don't think it was.
that's fine.
So yeah, you can close the airlocks, but it's not going to prevent um them from getting
Fair
in.
enough.
It was at a I can't remember what it's called, but yeah. Um, all right, so we're kind of at a point with everything that's going on that to me this kind of went a little faster than I expected it to. Um, to kind of narratively go through this well, for the most part. So, Lark, you are able to fix the thrusters.
Mhm.
Um, it takes you a little bit longer than you expect,
Okay.
but you're able to get it done. Sajad, once Lark fixes the thrusters, you see this on a nearby panel, kind of like a green or light go from red to green, as it shows that the ship is operational.
Okay. Great. Uh, Lark, we need to make sure the crew's on board.
Great. I've got to send out a message anyway. Go.
Okay.
And I'm just hitting a terminal. I'm trying to send as much stuff as I can out to Wayland in the event that we don't make it out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go up to see if we have any perfected that have made it aboard the ship.
Say that one more time.
To see if we've gotten any perfected, if they like heard a message and
Okay.
came toward the
So,
set arena.
and you were outside of the set arena, right? You had gone to one of the terminals. Um,
Yeah, I'll go back there.
as you are, you kind of head back towards the set arena. You can see through the umbilical that there are some of the perfected kind of walking down the umbilical heading towards the ship. Even if you had not sent that out, the fact that
Yeah.
operational light went back on signaled them.
Nice.
Ijiri and Navar, you are heading down towards the lifeboats. Just to make things easy, you all, but by the time Ijiri, you gathered the cat, tested yourself, and the cat, and who, by the way, was really not happy that you did that. You and Navar kind of meet up in the chute and start heading down towards deck. What did I say? It was J or I, or it's deck I. I'm sorry, deck I, where all of the lifeboat bays are. Um, Colonel, what are you doing?
I'm trying madly to think of any way I can make sure that the Centurina does not leave. I'm contacting the destroyer, warning them, maybe using the plasma arms to try to block the ship in. Um, anything that I can think of.
Um, well, you do have control over, one of the plasma arms, the trawling arms. Um, I would say that you do have some limited maneuverability of it, but where it is docked currently, you don't have a way to do anything to it.
Got it.
However, if and when they do take off, you might be able to do something.
Okay.
So, or do you want to like kind of prepare yourself for that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And also, I guess kick in the thrusters and start pushing us towards the black hole, um, in hopes
Oh,
that,
like faster towards it? Oh, okay.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I'd rather we all die than any of them get away.
All right. I like that. Go ahead and give me a um I will let you choose either Comtech or heavy machinery. Or you know what, even piloting too, whichever of those is highest for you.
I would love to use contact if I can.
Sure, go for it.
Okay.
Do you still have like those plus ones from before?
Uh, I think so. I think the only one I ever used, I actually used a story point instead of my plus one.
Okay.
So,
I have another story point if you need it.
on my regular ones, I got one success. Now I'm rolling my six stress dice. And I got two more successes on my stress dice and no ones. So three
Nice.
successes, no ones.
All right, so you are able to the thrusters are very damaged, but you are able to kick them in, and you know use the daughter computers to calculate when the existing ones should fire and when they should not, in order to kind of speed up the decaying orbit into the black hole. At this point, on the speaker system overhead, you all hear time to point of no return, 3 minutes and counting. As you start to speed towards the black hole.
Run,
So
Tetsu, run!
the Navar and Tetsu are going down. You have reached level I, deck I, where the uh, EEV lifeboats are. And so the way, just to kind of describe, because I don't think you all had ever come down this far, this is where a lot of the thermal plasma tanks are. The bottom levels of the space station is where a lot of the storage happens. This is basically think of it as a really large open chamber, which has these huge tanks of the plasma there, and then along the outside of the walls are where the EEV lifeboat bays are. So you start heading to one of the lifeboats. These are they're smaller ships, essentially. So they probably they're meant to fit four people. They have cryo chambers in there. But as you get to one of the EEV lifeboats, you look in and you can see how within there is just coated in not only the living proto hive, but the sacks of for the that the for perfected were birthed from, the pods are just hanging all over the inside. You are very quickly able to determine that these are essentially seed pods that the perfected want to use to spread around the universe, or one of the ways that they were going to do this.
I'm gonna
Well,
I'm gonna call.
I
I,
guess we can't get out this way.
I think this is end game. I'm
Well, I'll
calling
pull out
Major.
my dart gun and shoot the pods.
Okay, we'll describe that here. And well, actually, so it's been about 20 minutes since you were up on the top level. So it has gone through your sprinkler system has gone through 4 or 5 levels. Do you want to set it off now, or are you still waiting?
No,
Yeah,
You have not
no,
set it off yet.
okay. Yeah, I'll set it off.
I
Okay.
don't have a choice.
So you hit the button, you're firing into these things. Sergeant and Lark, what are you doing?
My transmission to Wayland go through.
As far as you can tell, yes.
Okay. What are these perfected doing? Are they still coming through the umbilical?
They are coming through the umbilical. Do you want to do something before they reach into the ship,
I was
or
gonna just detach the damn umbilical from
okay?
our end. If we can just detach it from the ship so that I don't know how it all works. I don't know if it's like a retractable thing or.
It is, but I'm sure that there has to be like some emergency release for it. Um, I don't know if that would be a manual release or you could do it from within the ship. You know what? You are a android, so you know a way to do this. Before I make you roll though, Sergeant, where are you at?
I think welcoming the perfected aboard, and you're hearing like, "Thank God, Dr. Ajiri, come on, hurry, we need you at the medical bay. Dr. Navarre, I think you can help Lark over there. Like, come on, we need to get moving and get this ship going."
All right. For probably the final roll of the game, Lark, give me a Comtech roll.
I got two successes, and I will spend a story point if I need more.
So all of this kind of happens at once. Um, Sergeant, as you are welcoming the perfected, you're kind of standing at the doorway essentially to the umbilical on the Ceterina. The first uh, perfected starts kind of reaches where you're at as you're kind of directing them, and it goes to because these things are really tall, taller than the umbilical. It reaches in, and so it's stooped over, reaches in to grab the inside to pull itself in. But when it goes to grab, you hear this hiss and release of the umbilical as Lark at that moment sets it loose. And the ship itself, regardless of whether the ship itself doesn't move, but because of the essentially the vacuum of space, it starts to whip the umbilical around, and you as well as many of the perfected just get pulled into space. Lark, you can feel this explosive decompression start to happen within the set arena. Pulling everything. I will even let you shut the door if you want. And actually, you can't. So what do you do at that point?
Yeah, I shut the door and I set coordinates for the nearest fucking Wayland like outpost
All right.
and sit in with my infected body. Actually, I'm infected, so I'm probably gonna go sit in a cryopod.
All right, so you set the autopilot. It starts to go. As this happens, this is when Dr. Navarre, you hit the button to release the sprinkler system. You and Najiri are down there as you start just shooting the darts into the pods. If you can imagine what's going on, the starting at the very top level, the sprinkler system opens up and sprays all over the living protohive as the living protohive itself starts to explode in these acidic explosions, melting the ship, causing almost like a chain reaction among all of the protohives. As it just completely starts to engulf the entire ship. Where you all are at as you are doing this as well, the pods themselves are exploding in this acidic viscera going throughout, probably covering you at this time. Tetsu, you were pretty weak to begin with, and so you are. You don't last very long as all these explosions, these acidic explosions, start happening. Dr. Navarre, the same thing. Go on.
I would
I,
like to spend a story point at this moment.
Sure.
Save the
that
cat.
the acid, now if the acid eats a hole in the side of the ship and I get sucked out into space,
Absolutely.
relatively physically unharmed, I immediately suffocate, I freeze to death. But I have samples of all of these things on my body, including the horrible Draconis virus. But now I'm just a little ball of icy human. Somebody could come pick it up. Go, oh, what's this?
As that happens, as these explosions start happening, Colonel, you are in daughter still. You can feel the sickness, the virus starting to take you over and start to transform you yourself. You see the Ceterina starts to disembark. It pulls away, and you can see how, and you can observe this. You can see how the protohive was starting to like almost like reach out and try to pull it back, but because of what Dr. Navarre did, it essentially starts to explode itself. And the Ceterino starts to pull away. You do have a opportunity if you would like to take out the Ceterino. You don't know what's on that ship.
For sure.
All
Yeah.
right. Go ahead and give me. What did I have you roll before? Comtech, right?
Comtech. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me another Comtech, but you get a +2 at this, as you're trying to manipulate the entire space station and the trawling arm to basically try and hit the ship as Lark is going, walking into the cryo
Cryo
chamber.
Yeah.
6 successes on
Holy
Comtech,
crap.
and I haven't even rolled my stress dice yet.
Go ahead and roll that.
Those extra 2 are kind of helpful. I got another success on my stress dice, but I also rolled a 1.
All right, go ahead and roll panic, just because that could still cause something bad to happen.
I got a 3, and my stress is 6.
So 9. So you still are able to successfully do that. Ironically, your stress drops by 1, but you're able to manipulate.
I'm very comfortable being taken over by the perfected. It makes me feel good.
the Lark, you feel as the ship starts to pull away. You feel that initial holding by the living hive on the ship, and then you break free, and you're walking to the cryo chamber when all of a sudden the ship just gets hit from the side by the trawling arm as the colonel manipulated it in such a way to hit it. Warning lights start going off all over the place, but the damage was done, and you start to careen into towards the black hole as well. Colonel, you are in daughter. You can feel the ship around you is starting to explode. As the doctors, Dr. Navarre's and Dr. Ijiri's virus takes hold. You trying to think how to play this out. Do you have a preference on how you want to play this out?
Well, she's an astrophysicist, so she wants to watch. She wants to see what's happening, but she's also turning into a perfected. And yeah, I mean, I'm assuming her motivations change as she changes into one of them. And um, the now, do the perfected as they take the doctor over? Do they know everything she knows?
Um, do you are you asking, do you retain your former knowledge?
Yeah.
Yes, to a certain
Okay.
extent.
Then
But
she's going to use the override and launch the comms tower away from the Erebos. She is the perfected
okay, so
to disconnect the comms tower
be
and try to save
between
herself.
as you are, as the virus, that everything starts to take over your mind, you hit the right buttons, you put in the right override code, which you hope launches you in the right direction into space as the space station hits the event horizon and starts to be pulled into the black hole. You pass out. Later on, you wake up covered in something in this liquid. You feel like you're in some type of sack or fleshy pod. As you stretch out your limbs, you kind of fall to the ground with this wet sploosh as you stand up within the daughter pod, essentially, that had been ejected out, rising once more as a full Fremen, waiting for the right opportunity to fulfill your the ultimate plan. With that, that is the end of Heart of Darkness.
Nice. Thank you very much, Tyler. This was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
great.
Thank you,
Wow.
Tyler. Wow.
What a crazy
Did it.
ending.
Did not expect it to go this way. But
Ooh, tell us how it could have gone. I'm
it can go in so many different ways. So there's a lot going on in the scenario, more than I can very easily explain. But the gist of it is that the Hezbollah lights. So even let me even take a further step back. The ship from the science module from the Chariot of the Gods that had gone to the 26 Draconis, found the black goo, had gotten ejected as the other ship went away. We That's what became that was the Chiron. That's what kind of became the asteroid. It got into orbit around the black hole that had formed, and then just due to the mutations of the radiation in the area, transformed the 26 Draconis into the Hezbollah lights, which in turn, once somebody was infected with those, it wasn't like a normal 26 Draconis infection, which would turn somebody into an abomination. It would basically start evolving them into the into the full Fremen. This happened over the last 75 years. Fast forward to now, where the space station is there. Once you get on the ship, it can go in 1,000 different directions. There are plot points that we did not even touch. Just because there's so much here. In the end, you can go along the lines that you did. I think the scenario assumes that you're either going to help the fulfillment at the end, the perfected, or you're going to stop them. It does kind of hint that what happened here could happen, but there are other things that can occur. If But it usually ends with the essentially a TPK, like we had here. This is a very low survivability one. Lark did have the only the probably the best chance, but then the kernel kind of prevented that from happening. But again, I could probably talk for the next 2 hours itself at trying to dissect the scenario. But before we end it, let me ask: do you all have any specific questions?
Was the captain and the Hedenstrom a red herring?
So Hedenstrom, uh, that's just his backstory. So he has one of the prison tattoos on the back of his head, and if you were to ask him, he would say, "Oh, well, it was just a joke from when I was in college. Stupid kid thing." He had actually gone to prison, so it was a real tattoo. That's more in play in Act One when you're first kind of meeting
Gotcha.
the androids because they will scan it and think that he's a prisoner.
Okay.
However, Lugar, she is also a PC that you can play. Her aunt or her great aunt
Got it.
was on
Um,
the Chiron, was one of the original expedition, and she gets turned into a perfected. Now there is a side plot point, and actually that's her agenda is to find out what happened to her aunt. There is a if you are using her, there is a way to get perfected Lugar to help you with that, to kind of ally with you, or at least temporarily.
Gotcha.
wow.
I thought that was a really neat plot point, having, the Lugar name rolling around
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I forgot that Lugar and Hedstrom were actually could have been PCs. I forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah, if one of you would have died, and a
They're
couple of you
not like
came
an initially
close,
available
Mm.
yeah,
NPC.
it's one of those two, or the cat, or if well really any of the NPCs you can become, like if you want to become one of the prisoners, you can become the warden, you can become probably not Webb or
Yeah.
actually you probably could become Webb, but probably not Sykes or Wicks. But
Mhm.
yeah.
What a
Wow.
massive setting though. My
Yeah.
God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And so
really like the way that
interesting.
it tied all the way back to our first game.
Yeah. Very cool.
All the
Of course, all we
threads.
knew in the first game was that the science module had been ejected.
Hmm.
We had no
And
idea where it was.
I think we kind of sussed out everyone's motivations and agendas for the most part. So Nathan, what was going on with you in the third act?
Uh,
I
Was
loved
that
it.
a choice that you made or was that some
it was
agenda?
an agenda change that I thought was fun, especially considering the mindness of them. I was playing it as they were basically pretending to be you or others.
That's fun. Yeah. So they commanded you to kill the captain
Uh,
and
yeah, exactly. Because
okay.
the idea was to make sure the hive survives, and that quickly became
Sure.
untenable. So then it was like, okay, well, the ship can survive, maybe.
Gotcha. I like it.
I,
It's
I
fun.
will say the whole kind of religious fervor thing, that's not actually part of the scenario.
Oh,
Um,
that's a shame. That's
that
fun.
is just something that because of what you were doing, it made perfect sense. It kind of
Yeah.
fit right in. And so I just kind of went with it. And I thought that part kind of turned out well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
makes
love
sense.
when that happens.
Mm.
So
Space beast.
Navarre and Drabakowski were here. Why were you here?
We were infiltrating. We were UPP.
But you
We're
didn't know
always
what we
there's
were getting
always.
into. It was just kind of a
We
like
knew
find out
that
what they're up to.
all I knew was that Ironfish
Okay.
was uh,
Yeah.
spying on
So
everybody, and we
UPP
wanted
kind of
it.
knew something was going on over here.
We knew
Yeah.
about that. We had no idea there was any alien stuff going on.
And
Well,
We were
and
supposed
I
to
think
go
and
you're the
in,
only one
get
here with pure
Ironfish, and leave.
intentions.
Well,
What's that?
see, Drabakowski was actually really interested in the black hole as well, and everything that went along with that. She's a scientist first, but she, was being forced by her handlers
Gotcha.
to do the ironfish part.
Yeah.
At
Gotcha.
least that's the
And
way
I
I looked at it.
I murdered Navarre, so
Yeah, right.
I took his place. But my only purpose was to make sure that
Ironfish.
Drabikowski
Yeah.
follows through because I didn't have the expertise to get ironfish myself.
And I was such a thorn in your side. I'm so sorry.
Oh, well, you and Tetsu.
Yeah, Dr. Ujiri just was trying to, do right.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
no, he took an oath. He knew at the end, like he would have to sacrifice himself. I thought it was interesting his backstory that he'd been in a situation, like where the people under his command were all killed. He managed to escape. Uh, Ended up being like Will and Yutani's fault. He found out about that, and so he started whistleblowing, and that's what got him in trouble. His wife, left him. Everything was going to be gone. This was a punishment for him, this assignment, not, you know, not a
Interesting.
reward. Yeah.
I really liked how you played that out.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then when I found out about you guys, I was like, I mean, I had no I wanted to save my friend. So I wanted to save Seja and anyone else. I mean, obviously it would benefit others, but I knew I couldn't do that if I went back to Willem with Yatani
Yeah.
because I've been out the door. I would be persona non grata, and I would have had no access to anything to be able to do that. My best bet was to just defect the UPP.
We truly were holding no cards,
We had no
by the end
cards.
of it.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
than Iron Fish, and even that's
Everything was
questionable.
every exit was closed to us, and it was just
Yeah.
And
we're gonna
Great.
die.
there is another kind of plot line that can happen where the UPP ship does actually send rescuers on board, and that's how you actually get another NPC that you can become because basically they get wiped out except for one person that was gonna meet you all, and so she can be like it's like another soldier character, but literally given the fact that you were telling them, by the way, we're infected, don't come over here. I mean, it was that
I
kind
kind
of
of
sealed your
figured,
fate.
It's a good move. Yeah.
I kind of
Smart.
imagined by the end of it, our space station had tentacles and everything, and
Pretty
you could
much,
just
Yeah.
reach
sure.
out and grab their ship out of the air.
I was like, is there a way you can spin the ship into the to the UPP ship so we take them out on the way down?
Why did the nuclear weapon not succeed?
Oh.
Was there
So the way that it's written is that it's when it detonates, it's that's what's supposed to happen is it
okay?
detonates and the trawling arms essentially soak up a lot of the nuclear energy that comes out, which reduces the damage. It is also written that when that happens, it does basically disable the UPP ship. You can One of the ways that you can also defeat the hive and all that is by basically overloading them with energy. Like you can like start leaking the plasma out to flood the ship with it, which basically overfeeds them
Oh,
and puts it into a coma, which you can then kind of move through the ship with and do what you need to without being impeded.
oh, that would have been smart.
Interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking of just releasing the plasma to blow the thing, but
That you could, absolutely do that too. I mean, there's a lot of ways to, cause
That's
you all to
right.
die.
yeah,
One thing that you guys also were trying to figure out is how somebody got infected because Jabakowski did, Navarre did, and Lark did as well. I don't. Yeah, nobody picked up on this, but Lark at a certain point was rolling her stress. She's an android. Androids usually don't roll stress. Laura, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your backstory even says how you basically removed like
Yeah.
some inhibitor chip, so you
Yeah, I removed
felt
an inhibitor
emotions.
chip. I could have killed you guys if I wanted to.
Murder bot, murder bot.
But the way that you get infected is through the radiation. If you when in Act 1 and Act 2, whenever you would go through radiation, there were a couple times I had you make a stamina roll, and I was rolling against you. When that happened, Navarre and Lark and Seja had rolled less than what I rolled, so that's why you got infected.
Interesting.
Wow.
Did the agendas change? Because my Act 3 agenda very much referenced that I was infected, and I was curious if it was like, do you get a different one if you're not? Or is it like worded
Mm,
vaguely enough that it could be referencing like the ship, the space, all of that, I guess.
You know what? That's actually a good question. I don't know for Lark. Lark also pulled, and this was chosen randomly. Um, Lark had another agenda for a while
Mhm.
around finding the basically the
The
heart
heart.
the Chiron.
Yeah.
So this is the one thing that I will say about this scenario. There is a crap ton of stuff going on. I kind of felt like, and again, this is just my opinion. I felt like when they were writing this, they had all these great ideas that they didn't have a chance to throw into the other ones, and so they decided just to throw them all into this one.
Gotcha.
That does
It
happen.
yeah, it's there was definitely. I think there was too much in this, and we didn't even go through some of it. I just completely removed some of it.
I think
But
that was smart. I think
Yeah.
you gave
There
us
was,
the
yeah, there
right
was,
amount of
Yeah,
story and
I
the right
agree.
amount
This
of
was
yeah,
pretty,
information.
it felt like a
yeah.
tight storyline. It didn't feel sprawling. Like
oh,
it felt
good.
like there were possibilities, but it didn't feel like, oh, there's just too much going on here.
I honestly feel like this scenario would actually make a better mothership scenario than Alien.
Oh,
Be interesting to play it on that
interesting
way.
idea. Let's go ahead and finish up. Our players included Holly Buto, Nathan Decker, Steve Anderson, Joe Bardalis, and myself with Tyler Hudak as the game AI. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you'd like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the alien role-playing universe. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.